All right, Travis, I think that we are live. Can you hear me?
I can hear you
You can
loud
see
and
me?
clear. Yeah, man. So far, so good.
Can you hear this guitar in the background?
I can.
All right.
If it gets going too much more excitement, I might have to do some flamenco dancing or
Yeah, well, here we
do
go.
some cha-cha-cha.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's a very special night. I'm going to give you all a minute to get settled. And in honor of my new friend Travis Meadows here, I started tonight with a little Leonard Cohen, a little avalanche for you. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Travis, you know this tune, right?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
You strike my side by accident.
Leonard was such a madman. I loved him so much.
Yeah. He's like otherworldly.
Yeah.
I do like him better when he was older, though, and I'm not sure why. But if I had to pick, I like old, better than young.
Yeah.
But he's a beast, man.
Yeah. He most certainly is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well here. Tonight, I have a very special guest of mine, and this is Mr. Travis Meadows. I forget the subscriber that turned me on to Travis, but in this entire few-year period of doing these music reviews, Travis's video absolutely exploded, and I feel like connected with thousands and thousands of people in a way that few people did. And if I can point to one video or one artist that really embodies why I do what I do on this channel, it's to make people aware of people like you, Travis. And like I know that you experienced an outpouring from that video, and this community has been waiting for this for a long time. So welcome, my friend. This is overdue.
I'm very pleased to be here, and the honor is mine. It's great to be here.
Yes, sir. So where are you right now?
I am in Nashville, Tennessee, on the east side.
Yeah. Now, are you from there, or how long have you been there?
I've been here for 20 years. We'll just call it even numbers. 20 years. I grew up in Mississippi, and then I started traveling and doing some things, and then I was I had done almost everything on my list of things to do before I die. By the time I was 38, by the time I was 38, I had done it all, except move to Nashville and see if I could write songs with the best writers in the world, because in my mind, that's where they were, was Nashville. So
yeah,
packed up, moved here, and everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong in the beginning. And then things kind of leveled out, and it just wound up being a real magical place for me. It's they call it a 10-year town, and I was every minute of 10 years.
Okay, expand on that. What do you mean they call it a 10-year town?
Well, I think some people, they have a dream, and they say, okay, I grew up in Boise, Idaho. I'm going to go to Nashville. I'm going to be a star.
Yeah.
So they pack up, and they, and of course the joke here is Nashville's the place where dreams go to die. But they load up and they drive, and it just it takes a long time. There is no such thing as an overnight success, and especially in this town, and in theory, in general terms, it takes about 10 years of hustling, of writing, of meeting, of doing the deal, and I wasn't exaggerating it, that they do call it a 10-year town, and I was literally, when things started popping for me, in the middle of my 10th year on the money, and so it wound up being one of many things to laugh about. And there are people waiting tables in Nashville that are more talented than probably 90% of the people that are getting the traction you know, and they come here.
Yeah, that I mean that's one of the famous Nashville jokes. Like the guy packing your bags at the grocery stores is the best guitar player you've never heard. You know,
Yeah, but it does have a lot to say, it does have a lot to say about work ethic, though, because you know
yes,
the ones that are you will never ever hear me say anything negative about any type of music, because anybody that can make you know, scratch out any kind of even close to a living in music, you're doing something really really difficult to do. And so they come here, they wait tables, they cut grass, they do whatever they have to do, and they just try to make it work. You know.
yeah, that's absolutely true. That's fascinating, that concept of 10 years. I don't know who I first heard this from, but I always heard it as whatever you do in life, it's not just musical related or moving to a different town or whatever. And there's probably a song in here somewhere, but it takes at least 7 years of mistakes before before you can start figuring anything really out, for you, like whether it's a business, whether it's a true relationship. You might have that honeymoon period, and then it deteriorates and it comes back. And I don't know anything that I've ever earned in my life that happened in less than 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It takes a lot of doing and a lot of learning while you're doing, And I've said forever, we spend a great deal of time trying to find our voice.
Yeah.
Then we have to figure out what we want to say with it.
Yeah.
And I was 38. I was the oldest writer that my publisher had ever signed. And we joke about that now, but man, they're after 20-year-olds, and I was 38. So but I show up late for everything, man. I take the long way going everywhere, but it worked out.
I can completely relate. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in here, welcome. We have Travis Meadows on with us. Moderators, thank you so much for all you do. Please drop links to Travis's channel. If you guys are unfamiliar with Travis, which is doubtful if you're watching on here, please go give him a sub and check out some of his stuff. You got some fans on here. Bluebird loves your first cigarette song.
Oh, right on.
Cooper, Wally, Real, Frank, Cool.
I love it.
Angry Shoebox. We got so many people on here. Vandy, Mr. Tonic Amps. Welcome, everybody. So, Travis, I gave you a little bit of the rundown in the email, and unlike typical interviewers, I like to kind of let the music be the great connector, and have it be kind of the platform in which we tell everybody's story and get to know you. So I asked you to send me a bunch of live tracks, which I'm sure caught you off guard today and made you have to do a little homework.
Yeah.
But so where do you want to start and why on this list that you sent me?
Well, since we're on the subject of a 10-year town, it was funny. By the time that I moved to Nashville, I had given up on being an artist. I was too old, and it just didn't work out. And so part of my dream was to move to town, and at least if I can't be an artist, then maybe I can still write songs. And the rhyming was never the pinnacle for me. For me, the 9 o'clock Bluebird show was the pinnacle, because the best writers in the world, you can go any night of the week to the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville on 9 o'clock, and you will hear some of the best songs that have ever been written. And so when I got here, that every single opportunity I had, I would be at the 9 o'clock show, and I played a bunch of 6 o'clocks, but it took a long time before I finally made it to the 9 o'clock show.
Yeah.
And when I moved to town, it was a long time ago, but we, I got in line and did what everybody else was doing. I was part of the Nashville Songwriter Association, and every night somewhere in town there's an open mic or a writer's night, and I hit every one of them multiple times. And I met some up and comers and some people that I wound up writing some incredible songs with. But I also met a few people that were like, "Oh man, I'm not sure if I made the right decision because these people are just too good. They're
Yeah.
just too good." And one of my in the email, you mentioned influences, and
Yes.
Chuck Cannon was one of the first people that I gravitated to when I got to Nashville. I hung on every word. Tony Lane was another one, but Tony, I couldn't find anything with an audio quality. He probably
Right.
wouldn't like it anyway. He hates being on camera. But Tony Lane, Jeff Steele, good Lord, the list is endless. But Chuck Cannon was a major influence
Yeah.
on me, and it was a very, very challenging thing to come up with one song. But let's try Chuck Cannon. I think I wound up on Money Don't Matter, I believe.
That's it. So this is Chuck Cannon, Money Don't Matter. I love it. This is ice cold. Haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Just start from the beginning, play it through.
Yeah, man.
All right. Here we
He's
go.
got a long intro at Knucklehead, almost a minute intro. You
Of
can
just
shave
talking?
some of that off if you want to.
Oh, okay. All right. I will, probably.
It's
Here we go.
good. It's good. I mean,
All right. Here we go.
all right.
Oh, hit the wrong button. Here we go, Michael. Oh, yeah. See, Travis, somebody loves you on TikTok here.
All right on. Now listen to these words.
Yeah.
This boy, he don't play.
I love that melody right there.
Trying to make money takes most of our lives. It's been known to make husbands strangers to wives. Until the kids don't recognize him when he comes through the door. It's enough to make you wish money don't matter no more. She's got a minimum wage job, 30 hours a week. Yeah, and her man, he done left her with 3 hungry mouths she's trying to feed. So she's stealing some milk from the grocery store. It's enough to make you wish money don't matter no more. We're all underpaid and we're all overwhelmed. Oh, how I wish love was the coin of the realm. Where everyone's rich or when nobody's poor. Yeah, sometimes I wish money don't matter no more. How about y'all? You can make it the measure of how much you're worth. You can store up your treasure down here on earth. You could buy you a big boat that won't sail heaven's sweet shore. That safe harbor where the money don't matter no more. We're all underpaid and we're all overwhelmed. Oh, how I wish love was the coin of the realm. Where everyone's rich all when nobody's poor. In the place where the money don't matter no more, no. Well, 30 pieces of silver was all that it took. To make Judas give Jesus the kiss of a crook.
Yeah, dude. Don't play.
That's a hell of a thing to become famous for.
Beat that.
Just to find out
Yeah.
that the money don't matter no.
Oh, man. What a tag.
We're all underpaid and we're all overwhelmed. Oh, how I wish love was the coin of the realm, where everyone's rich or when nobody's poor. When we all get to where the money don't matter no more. I'm not a Christians and the Buddhists and the Muslims and Jews. And the atheists, the agnostic, the Rastafarian, the Zoroastrian, the Confucian, the Presbyterian, Episcopalian, Southern Baptist, Pentecostals, Methodists, and even Sikhs and Hindus. Got them all in. The doctor, the lawyer, the preacher, the whore. Guess what? We're all gonna end up where the money don't matter no more. We're all underpaid and we're all overwhelmed. Oh, how I wish love was the coin of the realm, where everyone's rich, oh, and nobody's poor. When we all get where the money don't matter no more.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you are right. He don't play.
He's just another level kind of guy. And he wrote all that early Toby Keith stuff. That's what where he made a lot of his money and what he got famous for. But he got bored with that and he wanted to make his own records. And he started making records. And about the time that he started making records was about the time that I came around watching him.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of my story you know, but when I moved to town, I had been a preacher for 17 years. And preachers fall hard.
Well, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. You broke
I'm
up
so
for a
sorry.
second. Yeah, no,
I'm
you're good. So you were a preacher, and then what?
I was a preacher for 17 years, and I said preachers fall hard. And then when I moved to town, I was I was at the top of the slide, just ready to let it burn. I started asking questions I didn't like the answers to. And
Okay.
Chuck had just come out. Chuck's daddy was a Pentecostal preacher as well. So there was, before we ever met, he made a record called God-Shaped Hole. And I get bored listening to records. I wore that thing completely out. Anyway, it moved me. And I said, good Lord, if I can ever get half to the songwriter that this guy is. And now we're friends. We're actually getting together this Friday. Just another one of those beautiful Nashville things that happens. I have indeed met some of my songwriting heroes, and it's incredible. But he's something else. He's a thinking man.
Yeah, thank you for turning me on to him. So you probably saw some people on the side there saying list. We always do a list, and try to pick songs for the next features, on a proper video. And I have a feeling all of these are going to be on the list, everybody. So Travis, man, that line, preachers fall hard. That is a great line. So you teed up moving to Nashville, saying for 38 years you'd basically, did everything that you wanted to do with your life. So, and then in the next breath you say, I was a preacher for 17 years, and then preachers fall hard, and I was at the top of the slide, ready to go down. Tell me about that. Tell me about how, you don't have to go in total detail about how you got there, but was it one of these things where you always felt like you had the desire to write, the desire to tell stories, to make characters, and that it took you until perhaps year 38 till you had to say, if I don't do this, it's never going to come out? And it's been something you've been battling with forever.
That's exactly it. I get so frustrated with people that can make a 5-year plan, because that never worked for me. My life has looked more like I'm a pinball, and I just get bumped into the next phase of my life and completely powerless over it. And I had a spiritual experience when I was 24, and in the circles that I was coming up, a music ministry was not valid. You had to preach too. So I preached. It took me all over the world, 30-something countries, and but then I kind of got to a place where I hear Luke. I thought something was going on. I've got some kind of a feedback loop. But anyway,
I don't hear it. You're good. You're good.
Okay, awesome. So, but I got to a place where I call them JPMs, and I want to be careful, because I'm not saying anything negative about Christianity or churches. Don't misunderstand that at all. But I jokingly referred to them as JPMs, Jesus per minutes. After a while, there were only so many of those songs. I wanted to write about life, and I wanted to write about death, and I wanted to write about my dog and my grandfather and loss and cheating and infidelity and all of life, the ugly parts too, not just the pretty parts.
Yeah, the full human condition.
Exactly. So, and by the time that I got here, looking back on it, I had been operating in a very naive faith. It really didn't have anything to do with God or Christianity. It had to do with my naive faith and my own spirituality. And when you're rigid, everything was black and white. And
sure.
And when you're that rigid, you're just bound to break. And I broke and shattered in 1,000 pieces. And I'm really so grateful that I'm even alive today. I mean, I did all kinds of things that I never dreamed I would do. In those first 8 or 10 years I was here in town, jail and rehab, and golly, I'm just grateful to be alive. But I did get some great songs out of it. What else are you gonna do?
I'm so fascinated by the concept of, great art in general stems from necessity. That it almost has to fight its way out, and it must come out. The good stuff, is almost a burden to carry until it comes out. And when I hear your stuff and I hear the way that you kind of describe it, that's just what I think of. I think of it being a painful process almost, at times, but a liberating one.
Yeah, 100%. I wholeheartedly. I live near a train, so there's nothing I can do about it. But he'll be gone pretty quick.
That's so. Yeah, my you probably know him, Guthrie Trapp, that lives in East.
Oh yeah.
He's got the train right there too. Whenever I talk to him, he's like, "Oh, it's a damn train over here."
That's funny. Yeah, we're probably neighbors and don't even realize it. But I do, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. In fact, I have had the audacity when people reach out and go, "Hey, my sister's nephew wants to get into songwriting. Any advice?" And I tell them, "Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it, because if you can go through life and not do it, then you're not a writer, or you're not whatever that is. You're going to find something else to do. But if it's in you, if that fire is in you, nothing is going to stop it. Like you were saying, it's going to come out, and sometimes it's going to be messy.
Man, truer words have never been spoken. You're so on it. Yeah, if good, if you don't have to live that life of torment, great.
Awesome for you. Yeah.
Awesome for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've mentioned it in a super famous quote a bunch of times, but that's that, Thoreau's classic, a life of quiet desperation, where you're just, where the songs within, you don't want to have it die within,
Yeah.
and, go to the grave with it still in you, and it just haunts you your whole life, and everything you do, you walk around, and all the things you have to do to make money, right? To do all these things, you're not doing the thing that only you can do, that maybe for once, then, you might feel like, proud of yourself a little bit.
Yeah. There's been so many life lessons in that. I used to, I still do, but not like that. But I used to struggle with depression really bad, and I would just lay across my bed and turn the light out and lay there for 2 or 3 days. And these songs would come, and I would tell them, go away. I'm busy. But over the years, slowly but surely, I began to learn how to, okay, well, wait a minute. If I can do something constructive with this pain and write my way through it and build something beautiful out of the wreckage, then that's a positive. And it took years.
Yeah.
And many songs flew right on by and just kept going because I wouldn't take the time to write the idea down or whatever. A lot of times I'm not even sure how I feel about a situation until I write about it. How you feel about so-and-so? Well, I don't know. Let me think about that, and then I can process it and work through it. Yeah. God, man, those people that have everything figured out, just I love to shake one of them's hand because every day is a new start, man. I don't have a clue, but I've gotten real lucky on occasion.
It's the truth. I don't think I know any of those people. I know people that say they have it all figured out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I believe any of them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, let's jump into the next tune. So you got a bunch of different ways you could go here. What are you thinking based on what we've talked about so far?
Well, since we covered Preachers Falling Hard and me dealing with alcoholism, maybe let's stay on songwriting influences one more time and pull up Mary Gauthier. Okay. I think I sent you two, and it's spelled Gauthier, but it's pronounced Gosha, Gauthier, Louisiana. Let's do.
Yeah, you sent me Drag Queens and Limousines, which is a hell of a title.
That's so good.
And then I drink.
I tell you what, I'm gonna let you pick only because I Drink, I think, is the best song about alcoholism that's ever been written in a positive light. Like black is black, white is white. I Drink, but Drag Queens and Limousines is pretty daggum good song too, and it's a true story. I learned a lot from Mary, and she always writes painfully about her own story. Like she don't make up, she didn't make up stories about, she's lived all of this stuff, and that was a valuable lesson to me. Listening to her and gleaming from her too.
Okay, I kind of want to play both. I'm going to do I Drink only because for you to just say it's probably the best song about alcoholism ever, I kind of.
I got nowhere to be. We'll sit here and listen to music long as you want to, buddy.
All right. Yeah, so there's a very solid chance we do both. We'll see where this goes.
Sounds great.
Okay, so this. Here we go.
This is it.
Thank you, Vandy.
Well, he'd get home at 5:30, fix his drink and sit down in his chair. Pick a fight with mama, complain about us kids getting in his hair. At night he'd sit alone and smoke. I'd see his frown behind his lighter's flame. Now that same frown's in my mirror. I've got my daddy's blood inside my veins.
Go on.
Fish swim,
Yeah.
birds fly, daddies yell, mamas cry. Old men sit and think.
Fine.
I drink.
It's like math.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Chicken TV dinner, 6 minutes on defrost, 3 on high. Beer to wash it down with, another, then some whiskey on the side. It ain't so bad alone here, it don't bother me that every night's the same. I don't need another lover hanging around trying to make me change. Fish swim, birds fly, lovers leave by and by. Old men sit and think. I drink. I know what I am, but I don't. Give a damn. Fish swim, birds fly, daddy's yell, mamas cry. Old men sit and think. I drink.
It's like math. It's math. 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah.
Fish swim, birds fly. I drink.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Trey Paget loved that one. He said, "Rather be kicked in the gut. No way you can write that hook without living it. Like I tell people, they
love
can't
it.
believe my stories. I'm not lying. You've just not lived."
I love it. That's great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love
That's
these
a good
comments. Thank you, by the way.
Oh yeah, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in here, and if you have any questions for Travis, feel free to drop them in here.
Yeah.
And
have at it.
mods, make sure I take a little peek at it, if you will. All right, just because I'm curious, we're gonna double up and do this drag queens and limousines for a minute.
Do it, man. Do it. I love that song. It was a hard choice.
Yeah, yeah,
And you'll, first of all, it's a true story. Second of all, her use of the, I was talking earlier about finding your voice.
Yeah.
And this is a lady that has 100% found her voice. She does workshops every year, songwriting workshops. She's got a TED Talk. She talks about the healing power of music. she talks about finding your voice and you telling your story. And the last thing Nashville needs is another, song. But what you have to give to the world is important, and you'll hear it in this song. She's incredible. I got nothing but great things to say about Mary.
All right, here we go. We don't usually move this fast, but why not? Bam.
I hated high school. I prayed it would end. The jocks and their girls, it was their world. I didn't fit in. Mama said, baby, that's the best school money can buy. You be strong, hold your head up. Please, Mary, try. So I stole Mama's car on a Sunday, left home for good. Moved in with my friends in the city and a bad neighbor. Charles was a dancer. He loved the ballet. Kimmy sold pie. She read Kerouac and Hemingway. And drag queens and limousines.
I love that.
Nuns and blue jeans. Dreamers with big dreams. They all took me in.
There you go.
Charlie and I, we flipped burgers to cover the rent. And bourbons at happy hour for 35 cents. One day before work, we got drunk and danced in the rain. So they fired us both. They said, don't ever come back again. Yeah, but drag queens and limousines, nuns and blue jeans, dreamers with big dreams, they all took me in. My daddy went to college, then he worked for the state. He never quit nothing, and he wanted me to graduate. My brother and sister play in the marching band. They tell me they miss me, but I know they don't understand. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and pray that will catch up with you. Yeah, drag queens and limousines, guns and blue jeans, dreamers with big dreams, poets, AWOL Marines,
Yeah, man.
actors and barflies, writers with dark eyes, drunks that philosophize.
There you go.
These are my friends.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep. I get it.
She's amazing. She's an amazing person. I saw one of the comments that Mary would be an amazing person to talk to. The good news is, you know, if she ever plays the show, just go up and talk to her. She's that kind of person. She'd love to say hello to you. She's a great lady.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, if you're just tuning in here, we have Travis Meadows with us. And Mods, thanks for dropping links in the comments, and make sure you go give Travis a sub and check out a bunch of his songs over on his channel. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments here. Getting a lot of love here, Travis. Lots of love here. So let's go back to the beginning, I suppose. RJ wants to know, paint the picture for us. What was it like growing up? Where are you from? You know, let's start the beginning.
I'll give you the elevator version. My father was 17. My mother was like 15, and I'm pretty sure I was conceived in the back seat of a car somewhere, and they were too young to be having kids. So my grandparents raised me. Yeah. My grandfather owned the concessions at the Coliseum in Jackson, Mississippi. It was a 10,000-seat auditorium. So I guess back then you'd say upper middle class. I was spoiled rotten, but the beauty in that was I got to go to all the concerts for free. So I mean, my very first concert. I'm really going to date myself, but they used to have love-ins where everybody would they come put a blanket down and get on the floor, and it was Dr. John. I think I was like 6 or 7. And my mom, I called her mama, my grandmother wanted to see what a love-in was. People were passing joints literally right across us. That was back when he was doing the glitter phase. He had a bag of glitter, and he would just pick it up and say, it was amazing.
I bet.
And I was hooked. I was 100% hooked. So I saw everybody.
That's a good first one. That's a great first one.
But I mean, you name it. Aerosmith, Elton John, Jackson Brown. The only people, the Beatles were already gone, and I never saw Led Zeppelin. But that's about it. I saw everybody else. Anybody that was small enough to come to a 10,000-seat auditorium.
Right.
And it was amazing. Yeah, I'm sure I had. If you listen to my music at all, you can hear all of the scratches and the scrapes and the trauma and the bruises. But it's so funny the how bad things feel when you're going through them. You look back, and for the most part, all I can remember are the good memories of my childhood.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, and I definitely had. It was a great time to grow up for music too. I mean, good Lord, we had the best music ever. I mean, the soundtrack of my childhood was, everything from the Beatles to Led Zeppelin, the Who, Stones, Springsteen, John Mellencamp. I mean, it was a widespread. My granddad, we'd ride around in his truck, and he listened to country all the time. So, Conway Twitty and George Jones and all of that. And we also had, and I still to this day have no idea how this happened, but Jackson, Mississippi has one of the biggest horse shows and rodeos in America. And it goes on for 2 weeks. I have no idea how that happened, but every year the rodeo would come to town. And they set up a tent out the front for all the cowboys to come. And man, I love that time of year. I swear, the smell of dirt and cattle dung just does it for me. I love it. I love it. But I heard Waylon Jennings. They set up a big tent and all the cowboys would hang in. And I heard Waylon Jennings singing, "Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys." And I had ignored country before that because it was, I called him Papa, my grandfather's music. It just, it was just what we listened to. Yeah. Waylon Jennings, all of a sudden, it occurred to me, wait a minute, I think I like country music. And then, then Haggard and that whole route. So, man, my spread is just is far in either direction from country to rock and roll. And it was all happening in real time while I was growing up. It was incredible time to be alive.
Well, let me ask you this. So with that backdrop you just kind of painted, were you always hooked to the songs and the stories of the people within? Now, because, driving around in the truck listening to the possum with your grandfather, and those stories from back then, I mean, I love that. That's the stuff that really got me into, that storytelling side of music, that genre. That's something I didn't get into till much later. When did you get hooked on the words, man?
That came much later. That's a great question. I grew up, I was a drummer first. The irony of this, I look back and it's just so crazy. But I had two houses down from me. There was Mike Weber was his name, and he played drums left-handed, and I'm left-handed. So he would go in to eat dinner, and he would give me his drum kit, and so I learned to play drums left-handed. And I would put on those. The first song I ever learned was Detroit Rock City, Kiss, man, come on.
Yeah, as you
do. And then the second one was Riding the Storm Out and Jailbreak, Thin Lizzy. So, but it was all about the beat, Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, all that stuff, and just as loud as I could get it. And forever I thought whoever was singing the song wrote it. And then I was 21 years old and kind of going, going through one of my metamorphosis. I've changed so drastically so many times, but one of them happened at 21 years old. I was sick of Jackson. I wanted to be somebody else. I wanted to be somewhere else. And I got it in my foolish head. I was going to move to Gatlinburg, and I was going to be a hillbilly, and I was going to play bluegrass and smoke weed.
Yeah.
Well, when I got up there and I realized how hard bluegrass was to play, I opted out for smoking weed.
It's such a hard discipline to play.
Man, I'm lost. There's no hope for me. But while I was there was a little deli cafe called Chuggy's Cafe, and there were some guys that would come in the evenings and they played for tips. And it was just a guy and a guitar. And that's when I heard James Taylor and Bob Dylan and Springsteen and Mellencamp and all of that. And it started taking shape. And I heard it like I was hearing it for the very first time. Piano Man, Billy Joel. And they had a glass jar, dude, in front of them. There had to be 30 or 40 $1 tips in there. And I'm going, my God, I could make $30 or $40 a day.
Yeah.
Making music. This is eureka. And so I asked the lady. She didn't have anybody playing for the lunchtime crowd. She had all the nights booked, and I wasn't good enough. So I said, hey, do you think I could play for the lunch crowd? And she said, yeah, we can try it. So I put a particular problem was I only knew 3 songs. Yeah. So I played my 3 songs. And I said, thank you, ladies. I'm going to go have a sandwich, and I'll be back. And I gave these people time to clear out, and a new crowd come in, and I played the same 3 songs. Then I knew 5, and then 10, and that's kind of where it started. That and the fact that I could make $30 whopping a day, and that to me that's still a big payday in music. Some of my ASCAP checks and BMI checks were less than that. So, but that's when it happened, man. Something clicked, and everything changed for me. One guy on the guitar listening to the words, which led me to start reading the lyrics and who wrote them. And then I'm like, wait a minute now. hold on, he didn't write that. So it, like I said, I take the long way going everywhere. But then one day I put, there are people that write songs for a living in Nashville, and I want to see if I can do it.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get there, but by God, I tried it, and I got lucky, man, and I made it work.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the first time I found out that people don't that not all the bands wrote their own songs, or even that not even all the musicians in the band played their own instruments. Like
right.
that was such a revelatory moment, because you used to be able to obviously open the album, open the CD, read the credits, whatever. Kids these days, they hear something or they stream it or whatever. They have no idea.
Yeah.
They have. I mean, I don't think they have any idea. I don't even think my kids care whether or not they're singing. The people who are singing it wrote the song, or if they're even actually singing it or not. I don't think they care at all. It's a fascinating thing. But well, let's see. How's everybody doing out here? Let's see. All right, here's one, Vicky. How are you feeling, Travis, since your recent challenges? The community's been keeping you in your thoughts and prayers, sending love from Australia.
Thank you.
So yeah, we talked a little bit about this, and I don't know how much you feel like sharing, but
I'll dance between the raindrops a little bit, and I'll just say that I went in for a back surgery, and things did not go anywhere near what I was hoping they were going to, and I had some damage to my tongue. So, this is not the normal way that I sound. This is a slight impediment. So it's been challenging. It's been, dude, I mean, my first memory on this planet was watching my little brother drown. Not to get too heavy. I'm trying to tell you that I know pain, and I've been associated. From a very early age, I knew that this life was going to be challenging. And then I had cancer when I was 14 and lost a leg and a lot of my hearing. But this particular thing is about as hard as anything I've ever done. We were talking about finding your voice, and it took me a long time to find my voice, and I felt like I was really hitting my stride and writing songs and making records and finally touring, which I had given up on. So the fact that I got that back at all was quite a gift. I just didn't know that it was going to be quite so short-lived. That said, I told my wife several times, because the community has been so incredible. It's very difficult to feel sorry for yourself when people are throwing that much love at you.
Yeah.
I have felt very, very loved and very supported. And, I've got a Patreon page, and those people just kind of stayed, and I didn't give them anything for quite some time.
Yeah.
And they stayed with me. So I have just felt very, very loved and appreciated. And it's a roller coaster, man. I go from extreme anger to, profound sadness, to, like I feel right now, incredible. I mean, I'm having a blast. You and I getting to hang out, and people in the chat. And life is, man, it's complicated, and it's beautiful, and it's horrific, and it's hard, and it's perfect. And you just have to take it all. I remember one of my good buddies, when I was kind of climbing that hill of learning how to get sober. He said, the thing is, if you do this, the bad part about it is you're going to get your feelings back. The good part is that you get your feelings, but you don't get to pick and choose them. You don't get to. I'll have door number 2.
Yeah.
And now you got to take it all. And so I'm taking it all, and that's kind of where I'm at. I got my son here, who I love dearly, my beautiful wife, and I've got fans that have been just amazing through the whole process. And today's a good day. Feeling good.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah,
man.
Travis. Dude, what a, oh my God. You covered so many different things in there. All right. So if you don't, if you don't mind, I had no idea that that your brother drowned, nor that you had lost your leg and that you had cancer.
Yeah.
And how young were you when you had cancer?
14.
14.
I was going through puberty and cancer at the same time. It was wild, man. I think there's some kind of self-defense mechanism in kids, though, that I don't think older people have, because I believe
that.
The thought never occurred to me that I could die. I was just, they said, I got to go take some treatments and I got to do that. But now I'm having a surgery. They took my leg. I'm like, well, now I got to learn to walk this way. But you know, and I just always hop back up and, well, what's next, you know?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a wild ride, man.
Yeah, I don't even know where to jump to next. Well, okay. I'm just gonna let you pick another song because this could go in a million different directions.
Okay, let's see. It was so funny. We have so many. Man, I was thinking about all of the people that I love, and like Tyler Bryant and the Shakedowns, Larkin Poe. They're all good friends of mine. Charlie Starr, Blackberry Smoke. I love those guys. But I was trying to keep it a little smaller, just. You know, so maybe it's something that somebody's not heard of. I even thought about my buddy Ashley McBride. I had her opening my shows for me. She was opening my shows, and dude, not a month later, the whole thing flipped over. Eric Church got a hold of it, brought her on stage. They did Bible in a 44 on stage, and now she's legendary, and we still stay in touch. But I mean, God, I've been so lucky, dude. I tell you what, let's how
this
about
is amazing.
How about Stephen Wilson Jr.? We've talked about the old, and we've talked about influences. Let's take a look at a few things that are new and upcoming and inspiring.
See, Travis, we're hitting our stride. This is great.
I'm having a blast, man. This is great.
Is awesome. Okay, so tell me about Stephen Wilson Jr. This is called The Devil.
I met Stephen. We were, being a professional writer is so weird because it's almost like dating. Your publisher will say, "Hey, you've got so and so Thursday at 10 o'clock, and hey, Kenny Chesney's looking for a single, so make it rain, baby." And it's like you have no idea how hard this is, but could you write me a hit Thursday, say 10 o'clock? That'd be great. Love you.
That'd be great. Yeah.
But Stephen was one of those guys, and man, he just has this. Dude, I don't even know how to describe it, but he's just cut from a different cloth. He's very original. He plays his guitar almost like, as a guitar player, you may really dig it because it's kind of a real percussive. He plays these loopy things with his guitar while he's singing, and it's kind of a loopy. Me and him and Jeff Steele wrote a song called Cuckoo. I looked so hard, but I couldn't find a live version of it anywhere. But and then he's got a song called 1994, which is fantastic. But I don't know. I just dig the vibe on this one. I think you will too.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stephen Wilson Jr., The Devil.
I'm Stephen Wilson Jr., and this is The Devil.
That's about as plain as you can make it.
Yeah.
Turn to flies. The world's gonna hate. Mama's back in jail. Just can't get enough. I think we've had too much. Gunfire in the schools. Melt down the golden moon. Where your promise ring. The preacher's got a thing for me. they're still both the devil. Work hard for the man, spare the rod, hell, use your hands. The hate'll break you down, you're the toughest guy in town. Oh, say, can you see the nearest pharmacy? Yeah, a needle to the vein might be the thing that'll kill the pain. Don't trade away your soul. You swear the world will never know that you were even here. How it whispers in your ear. The snake will crawl the earth to shed its skin, to make more for the poison and the filthy rich, or I'll be clean until you raise your voices and a louder one above the rest. Call himself the rebel. There's a one you know and there's a one you don't. But they're still both the devil.
Thank you very much, Brent. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
A snake will crawl the earth to shed its skin, to make more for the poison and the filthy rich, or I'll be clean until you raise your voices and a louder one above the rest. Call himself the rebel. There's a one you know and there's a one you don't. But they're still both the devil.
Golly.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I want to go back up and pull those lyrics.
Oh God, he's so good, man. I don't want to put words in his life story, but I'm 99% positive he was a rock and roller, right? And somehow made this transition into writing. In Nashville, the best writers don't aim at anything. The best writers just write songs they love, and it's the publisher's job to find a place for it. And Steven's one of those guys. Got a record, I think, coming out, but he's amazing. And yeah, man, he's great. But I got my headphones on. I forgot how good that track sounded, man.
Yeah. The band sounds good.
That was stout.
So talk to me about a little bit about navigating that scene and the balance between making a living and being a purist of your craft. You say the best artists really don't aim at anything, or the best writers don't really aim at anything, but yet we all know that there's these quote unquote these writing circles which churn out all these hits after hits after hits, and it's like a hit machine. And what kind of pressure do you have? How do you navigate it? What is it like to do what you do for a living on the professional side?
I will say that I was fortunate. And I think it might have been my age. My first publisher and I had a conversation about that one time. He said, it's the damnedest thing, Travis, because every writer, at some point, they feel the need to start chasing things. Tim McGraw's making a record. I want to write a Tim McGraw song. Kenny Chesney, I want to write a... And he said, you never did that. You never deviated. You always just tried to be you. And he said maybe it was your age. So I don't know. I will tell you that I think when everything really changed for me, one was getting sober was a huge deal, because I was wrecking my life and everything around me. And if you can have 2 beers on a Friday night and stop, God bless you and more power to you. But I'm allergic to it, and I break out in handcuffs. So,
what a line, dude! Oh,
oh my God! I lost my train of thought. I got started thinking I had this. I started visualizing this. So I was getting sober. And and one of my counselors suggested that I keep a journal. And I said, I don't like journals. Maybe I could write songs about it. And this is after years of trying and failing.
Yeah.
To the point that I felt like I was going to die. Something had to give. So I said, okay. So I started documenting. I started writing these songs about me getting sober. Painfully vulnerable songs, secrets. Had I known that people would hear it, I don't think it would have happened. But in my mind, nobody's ever going to hear these songs. This is just a homework assignment for me. So I don't have to worry about radio. I don't have to worry about Nashville. I don't have to, none of that. I'm just a man writing some songs because the counselor said it might be helpful. And one turned into two and turned into three. And next thing I know, I said, oh my God, I think I'm making a record. And the record wound up being called Killing Uncle Buzzy. They're still playing that thing in treatment centers all around America. It's the gift that keeps on giving. That record is the reason that Dierks Bentley recorded my songs. It's the reason that Eric Church calls me every record, wanting me on the bus because of that record. And what I learned was, for the love of everything holy, no matter what I do, hang on to me and my story and be authentic. Yeah. And it cost me a lot because I'm not in that cog in the wheel. I'm not the guy that's turning out, I've had a couple hundred cuts, but 20 years I've had 3 singles. And the biggest one, I think, was 14. I never even got in the top 20 because my songs got my heart rate going up. I'm getting the louder I talk, the worse my tongue works.
well, don't hurt yourself.
But no, I'm slow it down. But I'm having a blast. But I learned. So we're not going to chase anything. I'm just going to be myself. And man, magic. It was just an amazing time. And I'm probably the most self-indulgent writer that I've ever heard of, because for the most part, all I ever did was write about me, and I had to trick myself and say, okay, I'm always working on a Travis record. I'm always working on my next record. If I'm writing with Willie Smith from Deer Creek, Alabama, I'm working on my record. When Eric Church calls me, we're working on Eric's record. But other than that, I'm working on my record, and it made me write more authentically, and I didn't veer off, and I didn't try to, and again, I won't make fun of them because some people are really good at those pickup truck song things that I cannot do it. I can't do it, but believe me, I've tried it. I can't. My brain doesn't work that way. My language is authenticity and brutally honest, and I'm a one-trick pony, and that's my trick. So it worked, and I just never deviated.
So if I'm hearing you right, what it really sounds like is you're just working on you, and the songs are kind of a vehicle that going through sobriety and trying to work on you are things that something that works for you.
Yeah, it's little snapshots, and these songs are just little snapshots along the way. Well, here's where I was Thursday. Here's where I was then. Yeah, some of the songs are so vividly. I mean, I remember some of them are painful. On that record, there's one. Learning How to Live Alone. Go watch Another Day. Go watch that. Dude, you talking about tear you up, but don't be in the room with anybody, especially if you have kids. Yeah. But the lesson I learned through all of that was that, there is room for somebody being authentic and being honest and telling the truth.
Yes, absolutely.
Made a huge difference for me.
I completely agree. not to draw parallels, but there is a parallel in the sense that in my world, in this YouTube internet kind of world, everybody for the most part shoots for the elephants, right? Everybody is going after the really big things that are going to be these really big videos, which go to the moon and back, and we all know the types of videos that those are. And it's very, very few of us, or I should say it's hard to find because YouTube doesn't really promote them, and the internet doesn't promote them in general, of people who are very authentic, very, unedited, not fixing mistakes, basically. This is who I am, and the algorithm be damned, right? And I very much live my life that way because I view it as I'm working on me, I'm working on my craft, and I want to surround myself with a community and people that allows me a safe place to kind of do that. And I can just tell you, man, that what's that? I can't remember. Well, forget it. The point is, it's worth it, man. The depth is there. The like you feel it in your community, and how the way people feel about your songs and how it resonates with them, because those specific painful moments could be any one of us at another place at another time, wearing different clothes, and the weather's different, whatever.
Right.
And those are the things that really bond us, And so I'm just so happy that there's so many of us out there that can kind of cut through the mix and find each other through these vehicles and through this music and connect on that authenticity and just be real in this world of shit. It's just hard to find stuff that's real. It's just you gotta dig for it.
Yeah, it's so amazing. So I got a little under the weather, right? And I was having a few challenging days, and my YouTube starts blowing up, and for the longest time, I was not even well enough to. I was off social media completely, right? But I was starting to feel a little better. My YouTube is blowing up, and somebody sends me the thing where you had done Sideways. Right. First of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
Because you give voice. It never ceases to amaze me how life situates us and positions us, and man, don't ever underestimate what you're doing. You are in an amazing position, not only to show people music, but almost like the community, like you're like the mayor, you know what I mean? And people come and they're sending you these songs and these ideas.
It's awesome.
And you tell your truth and you speak to them and brutally honest, man. There were a couple of times when you were doing Sideways, I knew it. I knew the dad line was going to get you because it gets everybody.
Yeah. It gets everybody. That's like
it gets everybody.
It's one of the best lines ever.
But the way that you handled it was the moment that I realized this isn't just some dude. I mean, this is a real guy with something genuine to say.
I appreciate that, Travis.
Yeah, well, I mean it. You're in a good spot, man, and it just makes me happy that we found each other and we can sit here. And who would have thought, man?
Right.
A couple months ago that me and you would be on here talking, listening to songs together. It's so weird. Like, what universe is this? A cool one. That's which one. It's awesome.
It is cool.
It's great.
And on that note, let's play another one. How nice is it breaking up these interviews, playing songs? Isn't it kind of cool?
I love it. I love it.
You got 4 other ones. I've kept you on an hour and 15 minutes, so we don't have to do all 4. You can pick 1 or 2.
Well, I tell you, I got because I want to say that the Prince thing, because we could talk a long time about that. Why don't we listen to Drew Kennedy?
Okay.
Man, this guy, my former publisher is still very active in my life. He calls me up and he says, man, I want to bring these Texas guys. I want to bring them in, and I want Nashville to meet Texas, Texas meet Nashville.
Okay.
And we get there, and the whole thing was boring as shit to me. It was just, man, when is this going to be over? Until it got to him. And I'm like, wait a minute, now this may be worth the drive. He's just a very unusual, it's like Pennsylvania or something, but he lives in Texas now. This guy decided that he wanted to be a Texas songwriter, like Pennsylvania. So he packs up and he moves to like Tomball, Texas, because that's where the Texas songwriter lived. I mean, that's how committed this guy is.
Yeah.
And damn it, he's not doing it. He's awesome. He's great at it. Now, when I first met him, he didn't have a pot to piss in, and now he's got 3 or 4 big cuts, and it's happening for him. But back to work ethic, dude is out probably 200 and something dates a year.
Yeah.
Working, and he will not give up on his life thing to move to Nashville on a dream, because he understands that they both nurture each other.
Yeah.
The writing feeds the live thing. The live thing feeds the writing, and they work cohesively together, and one without the other, it won't work. And he's smart enough to know that. So I think it's a short song, but he told me about this song because some guy he was friends with, and because I have a song, God, I'm getting way too many details. I got a song called Black. It's about drinking your coffee black, and now people think it's a sin to put cream in your coffee. So he told me he had written a song called Cream and Sugar because this guy goes to meet this chick, and when he sees her, he goes, oh my God, I'm gonna need some more cream and sugar because she is something else. So anyway, he's awesome. Yeah.
All right, let's hit the button.
Yeah, man.
This is Drew Kennedy, Cream and Sugar. Bam. Guys, thanks everybody for watching and donating.
Take a shot at a target.
Really appreciate you.
Go ahead, pull the trigger. Head start at a broken heart. Maybe this time it'll grow back bigger. Oh man, it's just coffee. 2 people just talking. Come on, man, it's just coffee. Well, there's a jingle in the bell hanging on the door, and she walks across the floor. Look into her eyes, are all you see. 1 part blue, 2 parts green. So nice to meet you, glad you came. My, that's a beautiful name, and man, she's a looker. Gonna need more cream and sugar.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Cream and sugar. Never bought any arrows through the heart, but go ahead, pull the trigger. Never thought that love had sparks, but maybe I'm just bitter. Oh man, it's just coffee. 2 people just talking. Come on, man, it's just coffee. Till there's a jingle in the bell hanging on the door, and she walks across the floor. Look into her eyes, they're all you see. 1 part blue, 2 parts green. So nice to meet you, glad you came. My, that's a beautiful name, and man, she's a looker. Gonna need more cream and sugar. There's a jingle in the bell hanging on the door, and she walks across the floor. Look into her eyes, they're all you see. 1 part blue, 2 parts green. So nice to meet you, glad you came. My, that's a beautiful name. Man, she's a looker. Gonna need more cream and sugar. More cream and sugar.
There it is. Cream and sugar.
Wow.
Man, he called me one time.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No worries. He called me out of the blue, and he goes, "Dude, Dan Patrick is talking about you right now." And I'm like, "Who is Dan Patrick?" I'm not a sports guy. And he was like, the David Letterman of sports talk. Next thing I know, my manager's calling, and they're wanting to bring me on live, just off the cuff. He decided to put, but I'll never forget that Drew called me like, "Dude, Dan Patrick's talking about you right now. Done playing your music and stuff." I wound up going to New York, playing the Dan Patrick show, and it's a sports show. But anyway, it's crazy. Oh, Drew's a great guy, man. I love that guy. He's a bear, like 6 foot some odd, and he's a good guy.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's been about an hour and 20 minutes, and actually, unfortunately, I just got a text message from a friend that's been trying to call me like 5 times in a row that just said, "I got to call him back. It's an emergency." Believe it or not. Believe it or not. So if it's all right with you,
absolutely,
I'm gonna wrap this up, and just because I can call him back, because this isn't somebody that I would get a call from where it wouldn't be an emergency.
Sure, I understand, man.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been a real pleasure, man. It was a real treat.
Yeah, Travis, you hang tight for 1 second.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you tuning in. Sorry to cut this so short. I mean, it's an hour and 22 minutes, but sorry to be so abrupt with it. Just know that I love you all so much. This is a great community, and this has been a night I've been looking forward to for a very, very long time. I think at the essence of what bonds us is that connection about the stories and the songs and the people within. And your song Sideways, Travis, and that whole video, I think it just really cemented so many of us in this community, and I'm just grateful that happened, and I'm looking forward to doing this and talking and sharing much more in the future. And if I ever get down to Nashville, I'd definitely like to come have a cup of coffee with you, man.
Sounds great to me. I would love that.
Man.
I would love it. And next time you want to do one of these, just holler at me. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I certainly will. Thank you so much. Hang tight 1 second.
Yep.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.